So my doctor wants to lock me away. Yo, 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 yo. What is good, my little lost, my lost, where's my lost? Sweet pies. Yo, yo, yo. We're back with another, what is this, talking video, story time video with, I don't know what any of this is. I'm so sorry. Should I cut this out? Nah, I'm probably not going to. I'm too lazy. Anyway, cue the music. I have a story to tell you, fellas. As you can see from the title of the video, my doctor today... What's today? My doctor yesterday told me to start a YouTube channel, so here I am. Hi, my name is Nullheart. I hope you subscribe. I have plenty more videos to come. I'm just kidding. Leave my channel. Don't subscribe to me. Stop watching. Actually, why are you watching this? Get away from me. You know, sometimes I forget I am the VTuber and I stare at my model and I wait for her to talk. There's something wrong with me. What did I go to the doctor for? Oh, that's right. So, yesterday I went to the doctor, right, for my, depression. Yes. So they put me on antidepressants last month. And I feel no change. Absolutely nothing. There's no difference. So I had to go to the doctor and report. So yeah, I went to the docs and the nurse was just like, "Hello, Noel, how are you?" And I was like, very suicidal. And she was just like, "Wow, that is not good." And I was like, "Yeah, I know. Anyway, where's the doctor so I can report in?" Ha! So they started making me nervous, actually, because I have reported about my depression probably 4 times. It's still a new thing to me, so I'm not really familiar with their game. I don't know the questions that they're supposed to ask, but this is a new question they threw at me yesterday that made me go, huh? I had to report to the nurse first before I reported to the doctor and all this stuff. So the nurse, she asked me all the basic questions like, "Oh, are you sad?" And I was like, "Very much." And, do you plan on hurting yourself? And I was like, "I don't know yet." So then the nurse was like, "Hey, if you were gonna hurt yourself, how would you do it?" And I just looked at her and I was just like, "I don't know. I don't know yet." So she looked at me. This nurse became very concerned. And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. I'm not that far into the plan yet. Or am I?" She asked me all, like, the basic things. And then she hit me with the, "Hey." And she got real serious. She was just like, "Hey, are you planning on hurting yourself today?" And I looked at her and I went, in all seriousness, no. Today, I'm having a pretty good day today. I don't think so. Probably not. No, I don't think so. Today's a pretty good day. We have to see how the rest of the day goes. I said that in all seriousness, like an idiot, when I should have just said no. So the nurse looked at me like, "Oh my gosh." And I'm like, yeah, after leaving the doctor, I was like, "Oh, I see now. I'm an idiot. I should have just said no." And now it sounds like if one minor inconvenience happens, I'm just gonna off myself. I'm like, damn it, I'm an idiot. So then she asks me this. She goes, "Oh, well, have you ever been locked away?" And I looked at her because I'm like, wow, that's a new question. What do you mean? I got real serious and I looked at her in her soul and I went, "No, I haven't been caught yet." Because I didn't know what the hell she was talking about. And then it turns out she was asking me if I've ever been locked up for my depression. I thought she meant the cops. So anyway, we don't talk about the things, UPS. We don't talk about it. We don't talk about, bro. No. So anyway, the nurse looks at me and she goes, "Oh, have you ever been locked up for, like, in a hospital?" And I was just like, "Oh, you should have said that, girl. I thought you meant from the coppers." "No, I've never been locked up." "Why? Is there a reason you're asking?" "That's a new question. Why are you asking me that?" And she ignored my shit and said, "The doctor will be in." And then leaves. Then the doctor comes and starts asking me all the simple questions. Yo, has y'all doctor, like, I'm still new to this whole depression, like, doctor thing. So it's so weird when she asks, like, I freeze up when she asks me the questions because I'm like, ooh, wow, you are hitting me with some heavy questions. She hit me with the, if you was gonna off yourself, how would you off yourself? And I just stared at her like, wow, that is one heavy ass question, miss. Next question. She was like, nuh-uh, answer. And I was like, no, I don't want to. And she was like, nuh-uh, answer. And I was like, can I not? And she was like, nuh-uh, answer. So I had to answer. I was just like, God damn it, now you know my plan. So yeah, she upped my doses in medication and whatnot. And then she goes, have you ever been locked up? And I froze and I was like, am I gonna get locked up today? On a Monday? Of all days, Monday? You're gonna lock me up? I was like, no, I've never been locked up. Unless you're talking about the other one day. I haven't been caught yet. I was like, which one? And she was just like, have you ever thought about locking yourself up? And I just was like, am I going to get locked up today? Is today the day? And she, in all seriousness, just stared at me and was like, do you think you need to be locked up? And I'm like, oh my god, no, I don't want to. So I was like, nope, don't think so. And she goes, do you think about hurting yourself? And she asked me all the basic stuff again, and I answered serious. And I thought, my answers are so dumb, they probably think I'm insane, which I kind of am. So anyway, after she asked me all the basic questions that they're supposed to ask me, she goes, well, you have therapy coming up. I want you to go to that. And I was like, damn it. Okay, I'll go to therapy. And she goes, yes, maybe they can help you. Is there a place where you can be alone so you can think? And I looked at her and I was like, no, because when I'm at home, there's always someone at home. And when I go outside, sadly, you would think I would be alone. But no, I can be all alone in the street and a random person will come up to me and only me and just start talking about random things. And she looked at me, she was like, what do you mean, no? And I was like, oh, well, like, for example, I one time met a lady named Scissors. and chat, my little lost hearts, I'm gonna tell you, okay? I'm gonna tell you why her name was Scissors. I didn't tell my doctor, I didn't want her to hear this, but I'm going to share this story with you, okay? Because if I had to experience it, I want you to experience it. I want you to put yourself in my shoes. I want one person to tell me they've had a strange experience like this, because I have a lot of experiences like this, okay? I have a lot of experiences like this. When I was in college, I had a break and I decided to go to McDonald's, right? And a friend of mine decided to tag along with me to McDonald's. Now, this friend had never been outside of college with me. We only knew each other in class, so he did not know the out-of-class experience with me. And since we were going outside of campus, I had to tell him, I was like, hey man, you seem like a very normal person, so I have to warn you. Since you want to hang out with me, you must prepare yourself. And this man did not heed my warning. I told him, if you hang out with me, you will most definitely see something out of the ordinary. And he was just like, what does that mean? I was like, either we are going to see something wild outside, or someone is going to walk over to me and just be a part of life for some reason. I don't know. The side character will decide to be a main character. They will have a special event. I don't know how to describe it, bro. I was like, someone will walk over to me and you will either get a life lesson, a tragic backstory, maybe all, or just a random crazy person who wants to fight with me. I was like, now you might be included, or they might ignore your whole existence. I was like, let's hope they ignore you and just talk to me so you're not a part of it. And he just did not understand what I was telling him. And he thought I was making things up. And I even told him some examples, and he just thought I was lying until we got to the McDonald's and sat down with our food. And a woman named Scissors walked up. And she walked up to me and asked for money because she wanted to buy a frappe because I had a frappe. And she points her bony ass finger at my drink, to which I thought she's gonna snatch my thing, so I yoinked it away from her. And then she was like, oh, I'm not gonna steal from you. I just want money. So I gave her a dime because that was all I had on me. And she threw that dime right back at my forehead and went, what the hell is a dime gonna do for me? Huh, dime girl? What is a dime gonna do for me? Huh? 10 cents, girl? You got 10 cents? Huh? What else you got? And then I went, a nickel. So then she goes, you got 15 cents, girl? Is that you, 15 cents, girl? And so I was dubbed the 15 cents girl. And... and she did not care about my friend at all. She just kept talking to me. Then she decided to drop her lore on me. Okay? Mind you, this whole time, I'm sitting there just like this, eating my burger, looking straight into my friend's soul, while he is looking terrified. Although she is not even paying attention to him. Scissors proceeds to tell me not to get pregnant. Because pregnancy sucks. And I should get an abortion if I get pregnant. She was like, remember the wire hangers? You can always use them. They are your best friend. And just kept on talking. Then she looks at my friend and went, is that your boyfriend? Yeah, don't be sticking your weenus in there. Like, she was really going in. Like, she was saying things. Like, I was just like, yep, here we go. Like, this is just an everyday thing for me. And my friend is just scared because Sister started pointing in his face like, you will get someone pregnant and you will walk out on them. That's the kind of guy you are. You seem like a dickhead. All men are the same. Why are you like this? And I'm just looking at him like, say something, bro. Defend yourself, my man. Like, see? And then Scissors turns to me and goes, let me tell you why they call me Scissors. My name is Scissors and I'm proud of that. Scissors likes to fuck guys, and when she's sitting on the dick, she likes to snap her legs closed, and then she rips the dick off, and that's why they call her Scissors. Isn't that a fascinating story?
No!
Now let me tell you, while all this was happening with Scissors, actually, right before Scissors came, I was sitting at the table before my friend, and I'm facing the entrance of this McDonald's, right? And this couple walk in and sit at this table by the entrance, and not 5 minutes after they sat down, they were kind of arguing. The cops come in, and I'm talking like 3 big cops just come in and start beating the hell out of this couple, and then drag them out. And mind you, this McDonald's is full. Not one person blinked. I feel like no one else saw this but me. And I was just like, wow, what the hell? And then I went back to sitting down eating my french fries. And then, not 3 minutes after, my friend finally sits down, right? And I'm telling him the story that I just witnessed. An old lady comes in and sits at the same table as that couple. And the cops come in, I swear to you, same second her ass touched that seat, and started beating the hell out of this old lady. And the old lady yells, no matter what you do to me, you ain't gonna get nothing out of me, coppers. And starts beating the hell out of the cops with her cane. And now I'm sitting there like, turn around. So my friend turns, and he just sees the cops dragging out the old lady. And he looks at me and goes, oh, that's just an everyday thing here, that they weren't doing anything. I went, you missed when they were punching her, and she was punching back. And he was like, no, you're making things up. While Scissors, that's when Scissors appeared, right, and does her whole thing. Mind you, Scissors was with us for like 10 minutes. While Scissors was telling us her story, a family of 5 came and sat at that table, and the cops came in like, I'll say like 4 or 5 minutes, and beat the hell out of the father. And the children, the 3 children, watched. They just stood there and watched. Like, they didn't seem scared. They seemed like he's always getting his ass beat by the cops. Like, they just looked tired of it. And then the mother comes and goes, oh my god! Oh my god! No! Now people are looking. People finally see. My friend turns around and sees. And then the cops start beating the hell out of the wife. And then drag both of them out. And then this one guy comes and goes, what are we supposed to do with these kids? And then the cop comes and takes the children away. And I looked at my friend who turned around like this. Okay, this is, he turns slowly to me, just, what is your life? And I mean, I don't know, man. This is just normal things that I see all the damn time. And I told that to my doctor. And my doctor just looks at me and goes, have you ever considered your aura? My what? My doctor really sat there and told me, have you ever thought about your aura? It might be your aura. Maybe it's because your aura. And I'm looking at her like, is this a thing doctors do now? My aura? And she goes, when you go to therapy, we can fix your aura. And I was like, are you serious right now? Are you telling me all my life problems is because of my aura? And she's like, well, you know, maybe your aura is so comforting that you attract people. And I'm just staring at my doctor like, what does that mean? I attracted scissors? I attracted this lady to tell me her life story? I attracted that? I was like, it's not even just like things like that. I was like, ma'am. And so I start telling her like 3 other stories. And I'm like, it's just, I just want to be alone, ma'am. She's like, yes, it could just be your aura. You have a good aura. You have a strong aura. It's very comforting. I was like, it's so comforting, huh? That's what you're telling me? My aura is so comforting? I'm telling you another story about how people treat me like garbage while I'm outside and run away from me. Like, animals hiss at me and all that stuff. I was like, people, the nicest people can be like, I've told my doctor, I can be on a line, right? With my buddy pals. And my buddy pals will go on the same register as me. And the cashier will be there and be all bubbly. Hi, how are you? What can I do for you today? Blah, 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 blah. And they will be so nice and bubbly. And then the minute I step up, I'm like, hi. And then they look at me like this. What? That'll be $7.85. And I'll be like, oh, okay, here, thank you. And like, they don't say nothing to me. I've even had cashiers just throw my stuff at me to get me away faster. Like, and then I'm like, damn, I wonder what I did to that person. Like, I guess they're in a bad mood. And then they go to the person next to me and they're like, hi, how are you? And I'm like, what? It was me? I didn't even do anything. Like, it happens all the time. I just get disrespected outside. I was like, but I guess that's my aura. I don't know. I just have that type of aura. I don't know. I don't know. It's my aura, huh? Woo. So my doctor told me, therapy will fix my aura. Whoa. We're going to fix the problem. So anyway, right? After my doctor talks to me about aura fixing, she tells me, right? Before she sent me off my merry little way, she goes, hey, hey, Nully, have you ever thought about maybe streaming? And I looked at her like, what? She is an old lady, my doctor. I did not expect this from her. I didn't expect the doctor to talk to me about making a YouTube channel. But she goes, have you ever thought about streaming? There's a bunch of streaming services, and I think maybe you might be interested in that. Do you think that's something that you would like to do? I think that'll be something for you to do. Do you think you can do that? And I just stared at this lady like, are you telling me to become a streamer? What? And she's like, I don't know. That sounds like something that might be interesting for you. You do have this aura. So then she tells me about Twitter. No, not Twitter. She tells me about Twitch. She goes, there's this one called, I think it's Twitch. You can make it big there. I think you can just talk and people will follow you. And I'm just flabbergasted, bro. I'm like, my doctor is telling me to be a streamer. My doctor is telling me to be a streamer. Then I was like, yeah, I've heard of that. I don't know, maybe. Sure. And then she stays quiet. She goes, there's a bunch of streaming services, you know. You might like, there's this one, there's this old one. I remember the kids used to like it. It's like YouTube. I think it's free. And I'm just staring at this woman like, yeah, it's free. Yeah. little did she know I'm already here. I'm like, and she just proceeds to tell me like, you can probably make it big if you do that. It'll take your mind off things, and I think you could do it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's free, and it's a streaming place, and you can do that, and it's social. Then she tells me about Discord, and I was like, what, you know about Discord? I was like, you know about Discord? And she's like, I think you can meet many people there and maybe make some connections. And I'm looking at her like, ma'am, I told you, I don't want to connect with people. Why are you trying to make me connect with people? What the hell? Then she starts telling me about Twitter, bro. My doctor was like, there's this one called Twitter. It's Tweeties. And I'm like, talking about Twitter? And she goes, yeah, it's run by a man. Mind you, this old lady is shaking the whole time she's talking to me. And I'm just looking at her like, okay, sure. And then I'm like, yeah, you know, my brother told me I decided to play along. I was like, my brother told me I should be on YouTube because I make funny noises when I play games, or because like random things happen to me and I should tell random people this. Because why not, right? Why not? And she's just like, that's a wonderful idea. You should do it. And I was like, yeah, maybe one day I could be famous. And she's just like, that's great. And then she puts her hand on my leg and she's like, we're rooting for you. And I just felt so loved at that moment. I was just like, aw, this is way better than last time when you yelled at me. My doctor yelled at me last time I saw her. She was just like, you are not well. And I was like, okay. But yeah, I was like, wow. And then I was telling like, I'm explaining all this to her, and I'm like, I feel so crazy, or I used to feel crazy, because things used to happen to me on the street, and I would tell my friends and family, and they wouldn't believe me, until one day, like, when I met, like, Angie, and Angie saw the random things that happened to me, and I was like, now I have someone who believes in me, because she sees it. I was like, wow. Like, now some of my friends have seen, like, the things that I talk about, and I'm like, yeah. I wasn't making this up. I don't know. I'm like God's favorite, bro. I'm like his comedy. I don't know. Whenever he gets bored, he's just like, what can we do to know today? Oh, like, dude, I just want a break. Want a break from the ads? Shut up! So this video is just a way for me to tell you to subscribe and recommend me to all your friends and family so that I can become big and famous and make my doctor proud. Thanks. I always feel so nervous making these videos. Like, I don't know how to talk correctly, and I stutter a lot, and I a lot, on my way home, right, I decided to stop at Dunkin' with my mimsies. I decided to go to Dunkin', right, so I ran over to the door, and I was like, don't worry, Mom, I got the door for you. So, oh my God, there was an old man in the Dunkin' who was walking out when I opened the door. So he goes, oh, come on in. And I looked at him and I went, no, sir, you can come out first. So then he goes, oh, wow. You are a young gentleman. And I my mind blanked out. This was my reaction. Ha 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 ha. And I think I scared the old man. And then I walked in with my mimsies. And my mimsies was like, you're a gentleman? And I went, yeah. And then she goes, he couldn't tell you were a little girl? And I went, little girl? And she goes, what? He couldn't tell you were a girl? What the hell? And I went, I don't know. And then I looked at myself and I went, my titties are all out, actually. I don't. I'm a little man. I'm a young man. I'm a young gentleman. Alright, I'm leaving. Goodbye.